bit of flack from you lot on the Kermode Uncut blog recently about my flippancy in relation to actors. I did a blog about Richard Gere, who I think is not a great actor, but I really, really like. And a couple of people posted saying, well, why are you telling us about somebody who's not a great actor? Why don't you actually tell us about people who are great actors? So, to rectify that, a few years ago, I was asked by a leading film magazine, can't remember quite which one it was, might have been Total Film, might have been Empire, to describe my perfect British film. And I said, well, it would be something that was directed by Ken Russell and starring Ian Hart, who, for my money, is one of those really exciting actors who, whenever he's in a film, you always know it's going to have something to appeal. I first saw Ian Hart in Backbeat, in which he played John Lennon, although he had played Lennon before in The Hours and the Times, which I would advise anyone who hasn't seen it to track down. The thing that was so great about Ian Hart's performance in both those films is he brought to the role of John Lennon a genuine sense of the volatility, of the danger, of the possible violence of the character. There's been a lot of press recently about Aaron Johnson, who now is probably best known as the star of Kick-Ass, but he made a big splash in Nowhere Boy as John Lennon. And everyone said, well, isn't it great? He really brought the young Lennon to life. Yes, he did, but he had nothing like the darkness, the edge, the danger of the performance that Ian Hart gave. Then there was Land and Freedom, Ken Loach's extraordinary movie about the Spanish Civil War, which for my money is one of Loach's very best films. It was dramatic, it was engaging, it was informative, it was entertaining. It was one of the very few, if not the only films I can think of in which all the action stopped for a 10-minute sequence and people just sat around arguing about the politics of anarcho-syndicalism. And right at the middle of it was Ian Hart, who did that really clever trick of drawing you into a drama which is political, but doing it in a way which is human. You were interested in his character, and through his character, you became interested in the politics of the piece. Short time after that, total change of tone in This Year's Love, which was a series of intertwining stories, all of them romances. Ian Hart had this character at the beginning of it. You met him, he was kind of goofy and funny and quirky and awkward and offbeat, but during the course of the drama, his character turned. His character became strangely threatening, a little bit dangerous. Seemed in many ways to perfectly encapsulate that thing that Ian Hart does so well, which is to bring together warring elements, disparate elements, contradictory elements, and put them all together in one character that you believe in totally. Now, some of you, many of you, may know Ian Hart best as Professor Quirrell from the first Harry Potter movie, although plot spoiler ahoy, he doesn't just play Professor Quirrell. But most of his most interesting work has been done in much more low-budget movies. For example, there's a new Ian Hart film coming out in a few weeks' time called A Boy Called Dad. It played at the Edinburgh Film Festival, and Simon Mayo and I did the Radio 5 film show from Edinburgh, and Ian Hart came on the show to talk about it. Now, I'm going to review the movie on Radio 5 when it comes out, but here's what I want to do, and here's where you come in. I want to be able to review the film with a list of the top 5 Ian Hart performances. So it's over to you. You tell me, what are the 5 Ian Hart performances that you think are his best? What are the 5 performances that really show why he's such a great actor? What are the top 5 Ian Hart moments on screen? Tell me here on the blog. I'm going to do the top 5 on Radio 5 when A Boy Called Dad opens in a few weeks.